Okay, Chapter 11, Lesson 3 just covers the area of a trapezoid. So I'm going to draw a trapezoid, and you have to recall that a trapezoid has two sides that are parallel, and we can indicate that with our arrows, and then two other sides, which are always called the legs. So this is the leg, and these parallel sides are the bases. So it's important to remember, sometimes they're going to draw a trapezoid with the bases in a different direction. And you have to keep in mind that the bases are the sides that are parallel. Okay, so in this trapezoid, it's drawn turned 90 degrees. But don't worry about that right now. That'll come up in a little bit. Right now, I just want to share with you the area of a trapezoid. So the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the height times the sum of the two bases. So we're going to call it base 1 and base 2. Now also keep in mind that the height of a trapezoid is not the same as the leg. The height of the trapezoid is the distance that is perpendicular to the base. So the distance between bases that are perpendicular to both bases. So this would be the height. So let's say we have a trapezoid that has a height of 7. We're going to call this line right here will be 7. And then one base would be 12, this bottom one, and the top base would be 8. So let's figure out the area of that trapezoid. The area then would be 1/2 times the height, which is 7, times base 1 plus base 2. 12 plus 8 would be 20. So that would be 1/2 times 140, which would equal 70. So the area of this trapezoid would be 70. I don't know if you remember from when we talked about trapezoids a while ago, but this will come up in your lesson. The median of a trapezoid is just the base 1. It's just the sum of the two bases divided by 2. I just wanted to make sure you remembered what the median was. So the median of this trapezoid would be 12 plus 8, bases added together, divided by 2. 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So the median of this trapezoid is 10. Okay, it can get a little bit trickier. Let's look at this trapezoid. This trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid. So that means that the two legs are equal. This leg is equal to this leg. Okay? And in this problem, they tell you that this base is 6 and this base is 8 and that the legs are 5. And they want to know the area. But we don't know what the height is. So we need to use the information in our diagram to figure out what the height is. Well, the other information that they gave us was this is an isosceles triangle. So that means that this little segment right here has to be equal to this one. So if this upper base is 6 and this one is 8, that means the distance between here and here is also 6, right? So from here to here would be 6. So that leaves these two pieces on the other side. The whole thing is 8 and this is 6. So that means that this one altogether has to equal 10 because they told us that this base along the bottom was 10. So that would make this side 2 and this side 2. I'm going to redraw that because I think that diagram looks a little confusing. Okay, so we're just going to redo that one so that you're not confused. All right, so first they say that this is an isosceles trapezoid. So we're going to draw our two heights. And remember that they're perpendicular. They give us that the legs are 5. That are those two sides right there. And they said that the base is 6. And then this base down here is 10. That's the part that I thought looked confusing before. So I'm going to draw it this way. This is 10. Okay. So to be able to figure out the height, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, but we need to know this length right here in order to use the Pythagorean theorem. But we can figure it out. We know that if this is 6, then, let's use my red marker to make this look a little bit clearer, then this part has to be 6 as well. But we have these two pieces that are congruent on the sides here. Those two pieces together have to equal 4, right? Because it's 10 minus 6. And those two pieces together, we'll call them x, have to equal 4. So x has to equal 2. So now we have enough information. If we know that this is 2, we can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out what our height is. Remember, this is a right triangle right here. So the Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So in this case, we have 2 squared plus b squared, which is our height, so we'll call it height squared, equals c squared. So 2 squared is 4, plus our height squared equals c is 5, so 5 squared is 25. We subtract 4 from both sides. That means that our height squared equals 21. So the length of our height, we take the square root of each side, is the square root of 21. Now we have enough information to figure out the area of this trapezoid. You have to recall that the area equals 1/2 times the height times the sum of the two bases. So we have 1/2 times the height, which is the square root of 21, times the base. Remember, it's this piece right here, 10 plus 6. So that's 16. So we have 1/2 times the square root of 21 times 16. 1/2 of 16 is 8. So the area of this trapezoid is 8 times the square root of 21. And you can leave it in that form. The only time you would have to simplify is if underneath the radical sign you had a perfect square. But there is not a perfect square that's also a factor of 21, so you can leave the answer like that. We're going to look at one more example so that I can make sure that you know how to do these. So this first one, we're going to draw our trapezoid. This one's going to look a little different. This one has a base up here of 5, and this base on the bottom is 13. This leg is 10, and this one is 6. In this picture, they're going to tell you that this leg that is 6 units long is perpendicular to the base. Because it's perpendicular to the base, then we can use this leg as the height because it is perpendicular. So the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 times the height times the sum of the two bases. So this one's pretty easy. This one, it tells you everything. So it's 1/2 times the height, which is 6, times 13 plus 5, which is 18. So that means that it's 3 times 18. So the area of this trapezoid is 54. Okay. They might also ask you what the median of this trapezoid is. Remember that the median is just the two bases divided by 2. So in this case, it's 13 plus 5 divided by 2, which would be 9. There's one more I want to show you because they tried to trick you with this one, and you might get one like this in your homework. In this one, they draw the trapezoid like this. They have it rotated 90 degrees. And they say that this is 14, and this side is 13, this side is 9, and this side is 12. Well, when you figure out the area of this trapezoid, you have to keep in mind that the bases are not necessarily the ones that are here and here. The bases are always the ones that are perpendicular to, parallel to each other. So in this trapezoid, these are the bases because those are the parallel sides. So you need to use those for your bases. So the area would be 1/2 times the height. This 12, this segment right here is perpendicular to the bases, so it would be the height. So it's 1/2 times 12 times the sum of the two bases. 9 plus 14 is 23. So the area would be 6 times 23, which is 78. So just make sure that when you're looking at the trapezoid that your bases are always the sides that are parallel to each other. That's it for lesson 11.3.